Hello class of 2025 and parents, and welcome to our next transition video. You've been sending lots and lots of questions in to us, and today myself, Mr. Clark and Mrs. Hartley are going to be answering your questions to make sure that you have a really confident and prepared start when you come to Cantell. So I'm going to read some questions out, Mrs. Hartley's going to read some questions out, and we're going to give you some answers to those. We're going to start with a question about mobile phones. Lots of you were asking about these. So I'm going to put two questions together. What is the policy at Cantell on mobile phones, and what happens if I don't have a phone and I need to ring home?
Okay, so first of all, with mobile phones, we do allow mobile phones in school. However, we do ask that they are switched off and out of the way during lesson time. Can be used during social times, but we do not wish to see them in class. One of the reasons that we do allow them in school is that obviously your child, you might be travelling further to school now using public transport, and it adds that element of safety to your journey. If you need to phone home and you don't have a mobile phone, you may come down to student services and use the phone. However, we would need to work out if it's an emergency, if it's just something that we can help with in school first of all. So don't just ask them at student services to call home. We'll work with you to work out the best next steps. So I mentioned something about public transport. What happens if I forget my bus pass or money for the bus?
So the way the bus pass works here at school at Cantell is that you can top up online and get your bus pass given to you every week, or you can pay for it in advance. Your bus pass does have your photograph on it, so if it does go missing, we will do everything that we can to reunite you with it. If you're travelling to or from school on the school bus and you've misplaced your bus pass, we should be able to give you a temporary replacement because again it is linked to your ID. However, if you're travelling on the public bus, again it's a little bit different because obviously you need money to pay for that one. So it might be worthwhile to maybe keep a little emergency bit in your school bag so that if you need to get the public bus and you've lost some other money, you have that emergency fund there.
And of course what we could also do is you can come down to student services and we can make that phone call home and we can support you in making sure that you get home safely.
Next question was about a really practical question. When can I go to the toilet?
Okay, so toilet times are restricted to break and lunchtime, so those social times. If you have a medical condition that requires a toilet pass to be issued, you will be issued with one of those very early on. All you need to do is show that in your lesson and your lesson teacher will allow you out to use the toilet. So we won't stop you completely, but your lesson time is valuable, of course, so it is important that you manage your social times and use your social times for things like that. Talking about social times, will I be with my friends?
So Mrs. Hartley and I have been working very closely with your primary school teachers and finding out lots of information so that when you're with your Lesson A group, which is your registration group, you will be with some of your friends from primary school. However, your classes will all be completely different makeups. You'll be not necessarily in the same maths class as your Lesson A group or the same English class and so on. So you'll be with different people for those different classes. And of course, during social time, you'll be able to meet up with any of your friends who may not be in some of your classes. Next question is a little bit linked to, I suppose, uniform. Can boys have long hair? And does it need to be tied back?
Okay, boys can have long hair. It does need to be tied back in certain lessons. So for example, PE, tech, food tech, science, those kind of lessons where it's important for health and safety that anything like that is out of the way, you will need to tie your hair back, but otherwise we do allow boys to have long hair in school. Really important question, one we're asked a lot, this one. What happens if I get lost?
Okay, so getting lost is something that could happen. It is absolutely normal. Cantell School is quite big and nobody would expect you to learn your way around it straight away within just a few days. However, we're going to do lots of things to help make sure that you get used to travelling around school. Number one, we've already put a virtual tour video up on the Cantell website and the Cantell Facebook page, so please do watch that to get a feel for some of the different classrooms and the layout of the school. When you arrive, we'll also be giving you a map and a bit of a tour around the school there as well. And also, as you're going around the school, look out for those clues of displays and labels on the wall that indicate what area of the school that you're in. If you still get lost, which again is absolutely fine, please do speak to the nearest student or nearest member of staff. All of our students and staff are really courteous and they will help guide you to the right location. What is the procedure for students with allergies? Okay. So that could be food allergies or asthma inhalers.
Right, so I'll take allergies first and then go to asthma, which is slightly different. With food allergies, our canteen is a nut-free canteen. So if you have a nut allergy, you don't need to worry about ingesting nuts from the canteen because there's nothing in the food there. There are procedures that we would follow if a student suffers an anaphylactic shock. We would ask that we have all of the information filled in the registration book so that we are aware of the students first of all, and precisely what those allergies are and the type of medication they take for them. If a student needs to carry an EpiPen, we encourage them to do that, but we would also keep a spare one in our medical office. We would trust that the student knows how to administer their EpiPen, but equally we have many first aiders on site who will administer the EpiPen should they need to. So if a student suffers an allergy, a reaction in a classroom, for example, the class teacher would immediately alert medical, who would come straight away. Once we've done whatever we need to do in administering antihistamines or whatever, we would of course contact parents and ask that the child is then taken to the doctors just to get checked over and make sure that everything is okay. A couple of people have emailed in about soap allergies, concerned that they might be allergic to the soap that is in school. You are welcome to bring in your own hand soap to use that if you know that you have an allergy to the type of soap that we have here in school. That's not a problem. With asthma inhalers, students do need to carry their own asthma inhaler, and again, if we can keep a spare in school as well, in case of emergencies, we would ask that you can provide that clearly labelled. Our medical officer does check the expiry dates on these from time to time as well, and will contact you if we need up-to-date ones providing. But since it is such a big school, it is important that students do have ready access to their inhalers, so we would ask that they do carry them with them, and of course that they know how to use them. Right, some important questions about teachers and lessons. Will we get to meet our teachers before September?
Okay, this is one where unfortunately the answer is a little bit uncertain at the moment. In any normal circumstance, we would have you in for what is known as transition week and an opportunity to meet your teachers. Obviously, due to the situation that's happening around the world at the moment, that may or may not be possible this year. We're looking at hopefully having you in for some point before your start in September. However, if that doesn't get to happen, we will be uploading lots of videos to the Cantell website and Facebook page called Meet the Teams, where you can meet key members of staff and faculty leaders and find out a little bit more about some of the important staff and some of the teachers that you're going to have next year. So linking from that one, what lessons are there and how long is each lesson? Okay,
now if you've had the chance to watch the virtual tour or indeed come around the school yourself on one of our open evenings, you will have seen there's lots and lots of variety here. So in addition to your English, maths and science lessons, we have a languages faculty which teaches Spanish, and some students will also do French and Latin. In humanities we have history, geography and RE. Of course we have PE, we have art, dance, music, drama. So there's a huge amount of other lessons going on which will fill up your timetable. The lessons last 50 minutes, but for some lessons such as tech lessons or science lessons, you may well have double sessions. That's so that you can carry out the experiments, so you have the time needed for those, or in PE it means you have time for changing and actually really getting to do some proper sport. In addition to lessons, what kind of trips are there in Year 7?
So every single year we're really proud to offer trips for every single year group, and there are some trips that you will go on in year 7. For example, we have Survival Day in the summer term where you get to go out into the New Forest and experience some map reading and survival skills. We've got a trip to Corfe Castle that happens with the humanities team, and lots of other trips that go on. And we have a combination of free trips that happen throughout the school year linked to your subjects, but also as you go on through the school, there are other trips that you'll be able to go on that are abroad, and those ones won't be free. For example, we've got a water sports trip, and we've got going to France to look at museums and so on.
French exchange,
thank you, I couldn't quite get the word. So lots and lots of trips. You'll find out all about those when you join, but every single year you will have the opportunity to go on lots of trips. Okay, how am I recognised for my efforts, and what happens if I don't do the right thing?
Right, we have a very strong reward system at Cantell, and we really like to recognise all of our students' achievements. So in addition to the house points that are awarded in lessons, they're also awarded for extracurricular tasks and so on. So you can really build up those house points, leading to rewards at the end of term. So we will have special time put aside for high house point earners. During lockdown, we've also been able to reward these house point earners with Amazon vouchers. So they've had a Friday film night every week. You may have seen some of that on the school Facebook page. In addition to that, we have our reporting system using the commitment to learning levels, which we know as the CTLs. And in those, your teachers will grade your effort and your behaviour within your lessons. And again, we reward those students. We have the CTL breakfasts and the much coveted golden tickets to lunch with Mr. Cutty, where he serves pizza to the students who are in that gold group of achievers. So there's lots of ways you can be recognised for all the effort you are putting in. Sometimes you might do the wrong thing. We all make mistakes. We're a school that wants to learn from our mistakes. So if you do the wrong thing, the teacher will speak to you in class. You may be given a warning and a chance to rectify that behaviour. If it persists, you may be kept behind for what we call a catch-up at break or lunchtime. And parents will be contacted to discuss your behaviour with you, and with any luck after that you'll work out what you need to be doing next. There are more serious sanctions in place should we have to use them, but we'll go into those in more detail in September.
I think linked to that one as well, looking at the Cantell Cs behind us, it's really important to get used to understanding those Cantell Cs. They really underpin every single thing that we do here at Cantell. And it's therefore, if you're following those Cantell Cs, you're going to be doing the right thing. Sorry.
I can ask the next one. Yeah. What happens if I forget my PE kit?
Okay, so we do have a Cantell PE kit which you can buy from one of the uniform suppliers. So please have a look at the parent guide for some information on that one. If you do forget your PE kit, the first port of call is to try and contact someone from home, either using your mobile phone at break time or before school, or sometime before your PE lesson, to see if someone from home can bring that into school so that you're still able to take part in PE as normal. If unfortunately that has not been able to happen, we do have some spare PE kit that is limited availability, and we will be able to lend out some spare PE kit for those students who haven't been able to get their own from home. Last question, I suppose this is a really important one. How will I know where to go on the first day? Okay,
and this is really important because obviously at the moment we've had no transition experience in the same way as normal. So on the first day, we normally welcome the Year 7 students in through the gates next to the sports hall and go directly into the main hall to meet their tutors. Exactly how it's going to work this year, as yet, we do not know, but we will keep you fully appraised, and all of the transition team will be in bright red t-shirts, so we will stand out really clearly. In addition to us, there will also be the standard members of staff out on duty wearing high-vis jackets, and any of them will be able to point you in the right direction. So don't worry, you might get lost in the building from time to time. That is perfectly normal. On that first day, we will make sure we get you to that right place straight away when you arrive. And we're really looking forward to meeting all of the class of 2025 at some point, hopefully very soon. And we'd really like to start hearing from some of you. So if you've got anything you want to send in to us, please do contact us on the transition email address, transition@cantell.org.uk. If you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, the things you like doing, the subjects you like, we'd really like to start getting to know you. So it'd be lovely to hear from you.
So thank you very much. Hopefully that's answered lots of the questions that you have. Again, use that email address if you can think of anything else that we haven't been able to answer today. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Goodbye.
Bye.